Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be talking about how to get your aim improved faster and what is the best course of action to go. And I figured this would be a good video to make because I haven't played mouse and keyboard in a couple of weeks. And you guys can see in the background, the gameplay is just going to be some TDM. I had a free-for-all clip in there, I think. But what this gameplay is going to be is I am going to try to do my best from a new player's perspective to give you the tools that you need to become a better aimer. Or if you've been watching this channel for a while, you're going to see me struggle a little bit with my micro corrections. And one thing that I've noticed that I am doing wrong, and one tip that will help you right away, is your arm and your tension, right? Basically your arm and wrist tension. And what I mean by that is whenever you're in a gunfight and you're trying to make those micro adjustments, you do like rigid adjustments, like you might be over flicking, under flicking, like within the adjustments, right? I'm using the term flicking as in micro adjustments, right? And there's flicks in between micro adjustments. That's a thing. So when you're trying to be as smooth of an aimer as you can, you are trying to get those micro adjustments down to where you're not tensing up, right? You're trying to correct super fast, trying to be as fast as you can. Just stop. You don't have to be as fast as you think, right? Especially when it comes to flicks, you don't have to flick super fast, super hard, right? That's a misconception. You want a nice controlled flick. And what I mean by controlled is nice, smooth ramp up time and deceleration on the flick. Because yes, there's something called dynamic tension control where you're kind of tensing up in between that flick, right? You're getting ready to flick, you're tensing up, but then you need to know how to draw back that tension, right? And one thing that I've noticed that helps me out a lot is when you are playing, say you're on a sensitivity that you're used to, what I want you to do is up it by 1, right? Up it by 1 and be as calm as you can be. I want you to be super, super calm. It doesn't matter what sensitivity you play on. So for myself, for example, I'm playing currently at 800 DPI for in-game 1.33 monitor coefficient. I know I did a lot of videos on monitor coefficients. Guys, I just switch it back and forth wherever I'm feeling that day. If I'm working on something, 0, 1.33, 1.21, or 1.78. It doesn't matter, whichever one you are comfortable with. 0 is the slowest, 1.78 is the fastest when it comes to aiming and having a 1-to-1 hipfire to ADS. That's basically all 1.78 is, and from there, it's slower. That's all I want to say on this topic. But what you're going to want to do, like I said, for myself, for in-game sensitivity, 800 DPI, what I do is I up it to 5, right? I up it to 5. And when I'm doing that, in between games, like I play on 4 for like maybe 15 minutes, right? And I up it 1. What am I doing when I up it 1? There's a common misconception that in the aiming community that if you have to stay on the same sensitivity to actually get better at aiming, to keep that quote-unquote muscle memory. That's a myth, but we're just using it in layman's terms. Basically, what you are going to be doing is while you're playing, you're used to that low sensitivity, right? You're going to be isolating different muscle groups when you hit that higher sensitivity. You don't want it drastically high. You don't want to like double your sensor or anything. You just want it slightly higher to where you have to make slight readjustments different, right? You have to make slight readjustments and you have to do this slower. It's going to really have you stress those muscle finger control when it comes to it. So when you're doing this, by the way, I want you to keep in mind that you want to stay calm throughout the aiming scenario. You don't want to like, oh, I have to flick real fast. No, you want to gradually, right? Not gradually, but you still want to flick, but you want it to be controlled flick, if that makes sense. You want it to be where when you are trying to flick, you feel like you have control over the flick. With your micro readjustments, you want to feel like you have control over your micro readjustments, okay? And you want to feel like you are actually, working on challenging yourself. You don't want to play different. You don't want to play slower. You just want to play at a normal pace, however you're playing, and you want it to be gradual. And you want it to be controlled. That's something that's going to help you with your micro rate corrections, with your micro adjustments, even with like your recoil control, like just isolating different muscle groups when it comes to you playing on that lower sensitivity and playing on that higher sensitivity when you raise it up. And then I want you to switch back to your normal sensitivity after like 3 or 4 games. Do this for like a day, right? For 3-4 games, switch your sensitivity up a little. 3-4 games, switch your sensitivity back down. And while you're doing that, that's going to make you more adaptive to your sensitivity and isolating those muscle groups. And hopefully, over time, it really doesn't matter what sensitivity you play on, because you know, like, okay, having that control over your mouse is going to help you out a lot. Guys, that is it for today's video. Let me know down in the comment section below, what do you guys think? Does these tips help you out? Some other tips and tricks you guys might be interested in. I'm all ears. As always, guys, remember, stay blessed and stay humble, and I'll catch you in another video. Peace.